Dave, how long have we been here?
Oh, it's been ages.
It's been about 4 minutes. It's 4 minutes. Kettle's on and we're ready to go sailing.
Yeah.
It's taken us 4 minutes. Sails all sorted, covers are off.
True.
Halyards hooked up. 4 minutes.
That's quite an exaggeration.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. The kettle hasn't even boiled. First thing I did was put the kettle on. It hasn't boiled yet.
We've had to lift, manhandle an outboard from the cabin where it's been laid.
1 minute.
Now the cabin stinks. We've had to get garden centre furniture out onto the deck.
24 seconds.
Honestly.
Kettle's about to boil and then we'll be away. It's just extraordinary how efficient it is on Injuna.
Yeah, cool runnings. Cool runnings, you tend to enjoy the ambience and the space. You don't need to rush.
Sure don't. We don't rush, that's one thing for sure.
Now, have you shown our good viewers this rather lovely view from your pontoon? I think it's fabulous.
I think we got the best view on the marina.
Oh, it's lovely.
Straight down the mouth of the river, isn't it? What's the plan, Andy?
Well, it's Victoria Yacht Club is the goal today. Interesting place.
Royal Victoria Yacht Club.
Royal Victoria Yacht Club, Wootton Creek. Dries 1 point something, we think. We haven't checked yet in our inimitable, careful, yachtmasterish style. So with 3 metres of tide around about lunchtime, give or take, we should be okay. Can I just point out, he's got new seats. Look at this. Ask him where he got them from. Come on. Bet these cost a fortune from some Chandlers, didn't they?
I got them for a tenner off the internet.
Oh, you old cheapskate.
It's for a garden seat.
Could I borrow this? Just a minute, excuse me. Thanks, he doesn't normally let me do this, but if you look up there, can you see these mast steps? Some of you have been following the creation of these. He's put them on the mast, which I think is outstanding, but look at the state of the four spreaders. I mean, that is filthy. I'm going to see if we can get some cleaning arrangements when we're at Wootton Creek. I mean, you'd be ashamed to sail a boat with that, wouldn't you? Every time you look up for sail trim, you see that, honestly.
Honestly, that's the word that came to me. Honestly, he's been on board for 5 minutes, honestly. Wootton Creek.
Oh dear, yeah.
We think it dries about 1.1.
But they did make the point that with the prop wash of the ferries, it changes constantly.
And at 1 o'clock we've got 3 metres just over. So that'll give us just over 2 metres.
We've got high pressure.
We've got a high pressure system. So here's an interesting fact. Average air pressure at sea level is 1,013 millibars.
1013, yeah.
And for every 1 millibar above that, you get a drop in tide of 1 centimetre. Today, atmospheric pressure is due to be about 1,019, so we got 6 centimetre drop.
Okay.
So it's going to be, we're going to be scraping along the bottom, just about. But
just really glad it's Injuna today. Just so pleased about that. Words like scraping along the bottom don't feature much in the Yachtmaster syllabus from memory.
So here's Wootton Creek. It's a historic Roman port. You can see here the fairway channel used by the Portsmouth to Fishbourne ferry. The yacht club has a drying pontoon which visitors can use. The first half is privately owned and off limits, but this far end is okay for visitors to use. So we'll exit Beulah River, head off on a course just a little south of west, being careful of the big ships in the turning ground off Cowes. We'll add a bit more south to our course, following the coast past Osborne Bay and down to Wootton Creek. Don't mistake this red post as a fairway lateral mark. It guards Wootton Rocks. We'll make our way through these moorings. Here's a view of the river at full tide. You can see the Yacht Club pontoon just left of the ferry terminal. Here's another view of the river at low tide with the pontoons aground.
He's a seasoned old wily sea dog, this chap.
Yeah, it's true.
Because he's hoisted his wife up instead of himself.
Indeed. It's quite impressive, though.
She's doing a good job though.
A little bit of wind just here.
Got it.
Trees have leaves on them.
Dave hasn't stopped talking about food since we got on board. He's just constantly on about lunch, and he's just said to me, I don't want to appear obsessive, but, so I think he wants to talk about food again. Is this true, or what we are?
Yeah, but can we have a little bit of a backdrop, a context to this? And that is, my wife is really disciplined on a diet.
Be very careful what you say here. This could be-
really
this could-
disciplined. And of course, as any good aspiring yachtmaster knows, you've got to be really supportive of your wife on such things, especially if you want them to crew for you. So I've been supportive. So I've been obsessing a little bit about lunch today. So what do you reckon will be on the menu? Shall we salivate a bit?
There is definitely burgers on the menu.
Yeah.
Egg, ham and chips, I recall.
Oh dear.
By the way, this is not a restaurant we're going to.
No, this is
this is the Royal Victoria Yacht Club's canteen. Very friendly people, basic but tasty food. So
Canteen doesn't quite have the ring I was hoping for, but fair enough. Well, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, is all there is to it.
just another hour and you'll be there.
Yeah.
We've diverted course a little bit. We're heading a bit more to starboard than we should because we want to take you to a post, and it marks the rocks to the west of the entrance of Wootton Creek.
Yeah.
And if you go to, we'll show you this, but if you go into the yacht club, they've got a trophy. It's called Bob on the Rocks. Some chap called Bob obviously was the first to hit these rocks, and the trophy's named after him. And the pair of us hit these rocks some years ago.
Whose boat and who was the skipper and who was navigating?
Anyway, we hit the rock. We touched the rock. We just nudged it. We nudged it.
Dave, I nearly fell down the hatch into the cabin below, and in fact
you were already in the cabin. Actually, you were already in the cabin. I'm sorry, this is an exaggeration.
Was check the keel bolts for water ingress. I mean, my teeth, look, they're still sore from the jarring encounter.
So anyway, well, it's a red post, and we mistook it as
I believe I remarked on it at the time to the navigator and skipper from memory.
No, you didn't. No. We mistook it as one of the fairway channel markers. So we're going to show you it so that you don't make the same mistake as us. So I did become a one-day honorary member of the Bob on the Rocks Club.
No, you are still the holder of that trophy. Let's be clear. I think it should be sponsored by Juna, because I think it's going to be there for quite a while in your name.
Wish you hadn't brought it up now. There it is. It does look like a lateral mark, doesn't it? It doesn't look like an isolated danger mark or
Say on there, Wootton
rocks.
Rock.
Yeah, but you got to get pretty close to the rocks to read that. It does say Wootton Rocks on there.
It is pretty much, for all intents and purposes, like...
It looks like a lateral mark, doesn't it? Yeah.
I agree on this occasion. Now, you can going to want to go port side too, or what? Because I can start fendering up.
Yeah, port side too, thanks. Ground.
We've got 2.6 here.
It's going to be close, yeah. From the main channel of it.
You can only probably get 3 boats in before you get a raft.
Yeah. Hello, chef.
How are we doing? Yeah, good, thanks.
Beautiful place to live, eh? So the Royal Victoria Yacht Club was founded 24th of May 1845 by Prince Albert, and he founded it so that Queen Victoria could be a member of a yacht club. It says here, as a mere female, she was not allowed to be a member elsewhere. It was one of the premier racing clubs in the country, and the members owned some of the finest and most competitive vessels in the world at the time. Think of the food though.
Well, it wasn't the best we've eaten, but for a sailing club it was wholesome, hearty and reasonable portions, but certainly not top.
What was on the menu?
Okay, there was chicken and gammon pie, which we had. There was ham, egg and chips. There was burger. There was beef stew. There was a vegetarian something.
There was a hot chicken salad and a cold salad.
There you go.
Bit limited. Blackboard menu.
Yeah, but very, very friendly, very wholesome, very almost like family welcome. That's what it was a bit like.
The other thing just worth a note is that when we came in we passed the tide gauge and it was reading about 3.2 metres. When we arrived on pontoon we had 2.2 metres under the keel, so on this side at least of the pontoon we know it dries 1 metre. It's not that clear in the charts, but 1 metre allowed for
under the keel, 2.2 depth.
Yes, sorry, we had 2.2 depth of water.
Under the keel is cool.
Not under the water.
That's
not
one of the reasons why, contrary to all your viewers, I have my depth gauge set as under the keel. Just saying.
I'm going to start that again. When we arrived at the pontoon, we had 2.2 metres of water.
That's not what you said
Which
before,
means,
though, was it?
Which means
Was it?
Which means it dries 1 metre. No, I didn't say that before. You're right. £5 for a short stay, by the way. £1.50 per metre overnight stay. On a high spring you can get all the way down the river, which we'll do next time. Didn't have quite enough water today. Didn't have high water either. Bit of a spoiler this, isn't it, with the banging and the crashing on the vehicles.
But it's worth mentioning that I somewhat cocked up the landing here.
Yeah, good point. So here's the thinking. We came in on a flood tide. And we didn't actually manage to get quite close enough to the pontoon. Well, we did, we jumped across, but it was perhaps not as close as we'd have liked. Thinking about it afterwards, probably we will always come here on a flood tide because we'll be coming as on a rising tide. You can only get in on a spring anyway, or approaching a spring tide. So we're always going to arrive on a flood tide. So it would be better if we had swung around and come in against the tide. The problem was we weren't sure what the depth of water is out there and whether or not we had room and depth to wander out, turn around and wander back in again. But I think we do. Next time we will definitely swing round into the tide as these people behind us or in front of us have done. Fair?
Yeah, very fair.
By the way, I use Digital Yacht IAIS. It transmits the AIS signals to your mobile phones and iPads and stuff. It looks like this. But the latest upgrade uses your Navionics charts and plots the AIS signals onto your chart. Big improvement.